Hi, welcome. I'm Laura, and I'm so happy that you're here wanting to watch and learn more about play and attachment play techniques as Aletha Salter described them in her work. And I'd love to just bring in, first of all, a sense of joy and fun into our lives as parents. So, play is the language that our children use to process what's happening. So, there's different types of attachment play that Aletha Salter has described, but also it invites us to bring in that sense of joy and making things fun rather than saying we must clean up, to say, hey, let's clean up together and fill up our cup and connect and do this in a way that makes it really happy and exciting and interesting. So we could say, let's clean up together and put the blocks away and see who can put the most blocks away. And then let's sweep the floor together. You take the broom and I'll take this other broom and we'll sweep from one side to the other and meet in the middle. So making things into a fun way. Of course, this is when you have children that are toddler age and older, but also play can be incorporated with our babies. So say we have a baby that is about to go to sleep, and sleep is a time when we separate. We're not really together. So play can help by doing peekaboo or hiding together, and then a partner or friend can find you. So also with babies, I'll talk about some games we can play together. So play can help our children if they're overcoming some kind of stress or trauma. It can help them process different things that are happening in their lives. Sometimes words are not enough and they need to physically feel it and interact with it. For example, when my daughter was starting school, we'd take a box or a little toy house, something like this, and put some little people inside, pretend that they're teachers and some other teachers, some other little people as children, and talk about what's happening or what will happen when she started school, and then when she was at school, talking about what's happening and making it into a game. We also did that when there was some sibling rivalry or jealousy among my daughter and her little brother. So we kind of interacted, and I allowed her to say whatever she needed to say to that little doll, and I was there listening, not judging, and also not verbalizing what's happening, like, oh, I see that there's some jealousy. I wasn't doing that. So a lot of times with play, let's try to keep the narration aside and just observe and be there supporting and offering empathy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the 9 types of attachment play. So the first one, Aletha Salter, the founder of Aware Parenting, refers to as non-directive child-centered play. That's a big mouthful. And Marion Rose, another Aware Parenting instructor, level 2, has rephrased that into present time. So present time is free play. We can put a few toys aside. We can let our child lead. And maybe we can even put on a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and allow this to be a time when we're focused fully on our child. So putting the chores, the cooking aside, not having the rice cooking, let everything go and be there fully focused with your child. And you'll see what they want to do and you'll learn from them, and you can notice such tiny details, and it's so beautiful and therapeutic. So I highly recommend present time every day, especially when you're going to need to do something like do some cooking and leave them aside, so they can feel like their cup is full if you've done that present time together, and then they'll be happy to sit on their own most likely while you do what you need to do. When you're done and you say, okay, time's up, they might have a cry, and you can listen to them crying, and that's perfectly fine as well, because crying, as I talked about in the welcome video, helps us to emit any stress or tension. Another kind of play that I actually just mentioned was that symbolic play. So this was our house or the school when we were doing it with starting school and helping her understand what's happening and processing and explaining to me how she's feeling with her family when her brother was little, and they had to share that time with me. So symbolic play is wonderful. We also did lots of symbolic play before going to the doctor, or understanding any kind of stress or trauma. You can bring in that symbolic play. We were once swimming at a water hole and a fish was nibbling at her foot, and that was a bit stressful. So we played around on the trampoline, letting her be the fish, chasing me on the trampoline, trying to bite me. So there's a lot of different things you can do with symbolic play. Contingency play is another kind of play that Aletha Solter talks about, and that is something you can do with a baby as well. For example, if your baby touches your nose, you can help them, and you can then go, and they'll see that there's a reaction. So it's like something happening and then a response to that. So it helps them also to develop trust and a sense of powerfulness. And laughter is often released during that kind of contingency play. You can do different things, and laughter is another form of release. So not only crying, but laughter is such a great way for our children and for us as adults to release stress and tension. I hope you also laugh during these games. Another kind of play is nonsense play. Say our child's learning to brush their teeth and they can't quite get it. We can say, oh, where does this toothbrush go? I forgot how to use it. Is it for the hair or is it for my nose? How do I use a toothbrush? So we can do something silly like that, or getting our clothes on our head. Another kind of power reversal type game, making our children laugh and to feel more powerful and more feeling silly, are power reversal games. So nonsense games are also power reversal games sometimes. But power reversal games could be pushing us, like if they're on a swing, allowing their little feet to push us, fell over, and being very dramatic about it. Or having a pillow fight and saying, oh, you're so strong, maybe not on the head, but maybe on the body. We can have certain rules and say, oh, you pushed me, and let yourself fall over and allow them to feel very powerful. Or if they're older, they can have a magic wand and they can use that wand to turn you into something. And another kind of game is separation games, which I talked about briefly in the beginning, like peekaboo, hide and seek, or chasey. Separation games are great when starting school or daycare or preschool. Regression games are another type of game, and regression games allow the child to pretend to be like a baby. Maybe we have a baby now in our house, or maybe now our child is going through some milestones and then they start to regress back. And it helps to give the child that inner strength and self-esteem by allowing them to regress, to maybe wrapping them up in a blanket and saying, oh, you're my baby, let me sing to you. It really helps them to feel connected again and to feel reassured that it's okay. Regression happens sometimes. We don't have to say that in words, but we can allow them to play this game of being a baby or whatever they'd like to do. Body contact games are wonderful, letting them sit on your back and be like a horsey, or maybe to do anything that, connects our bodies. Lots of different kinds of body balancing on our backs when we lie on our belly, and it feels really nice, like a massage. And the last type of game I'd like to talk about are cooperative games. And cooperative games could be building up a block tower together, or making a drawing together. So we don't have to use competition, and we can bring in beautiful cooperative games and activities. So I'd like to end this video now. It's getting long, but I wanted to talk as much about all these beautiful games. And if you have any questions, just feel free to let me know. I'm so happy that you're here, and I hope you have lots of fun. And if sometimes you don't feel like playing, I also wanted to say that's fine too. You don't have to do it every day, but maybe you can see if you can incorporate it little by little. And to end, I'd like to have a reflection question. We can think a little bit about how we feel when we reflect on our childhood and games. Did our parents play with us? And maybe there's something we'd like to go a little bit deeper there. Thanks so much, and I am looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!